Utah State Vice President and Athletics Director at Utah State, Scott Barnes, joining BYU Sports Nation, the NCAA Selection Committee Chair as well. Scott, welcome to the show. Our first question is, as the chair of the committee, does this kind of in a way make you Tom Holmoe's boss?
What it does first and foremost is put a big bullseye on my forehead is what it does. But we're just delighted to have Tom as part of what I think is an exceptional team.
Will he be required to provide donuts and danishes for meetings as the newest member of the committee?
Carry backpacks.
We do employ rookie hazing tactics on occasion, so you'll have to look out for that. We may have him get up and sing a fight song or something.
Fantastic.
Scott, what is the process like of selecting a replacement for Jamie Zaninovich, and how long has this taken to figure out that it is Tom Holmoe?
Well, what happens is, if in Jamie's case, moving to the associate director of the Pac-12 job immediately made him ineligible to be on the committee. And so what happens in those cases, and they happen quite a bit, or on occasion, I should say, then immediately the commissioner then say, we'll go to work to find a replacement within the same conference, right? So it started within the conference, and they submit names of folks that are interested, and then that's vetted and ultimately approved by the administrative committee. So, again, happy to have Tom. I think Tom will bring a lot as a experienced intercollegiate administrator. He'd be a great teammate, and I think my prediction is Tom, even though he only has 2 years, will find this to be one of the most rewarding experiences that he has in his professional career. It certainly has been for me.
Vice President and Athletics Director at Utah State, Scott Barnes, joining BYU Sports Nation. Scott, did it have to be a West Coast Conference guy? Was that a prerequisite?
Yes, because Jamie had filled that slot, it had to be somebody from the West Coast Conference.
So now that it's Tom Holmoe, what is the first bit of advice? Maybe you've already given it to him, maybe not, but what's the first bit of advice you have for Tom as he approaches this new challenge?
We've exchanged, obviously, I immediately congratulated him and was very excited for him to be part of it. We haven't talked specifically, but really what it comes down to is let's make sure that we don't take ourselves seriously in this thing, but we take our job seriously in what we do. And what I mean by that is we really enjoy each other's company. We spend an awful lot of time together and have a lot of fun. And then we work hard at it. We've got to spend some time watching games and being prepared. And I know Tom will do an excellent job in his preparation, getting ready for this upcoming season.
Scott Barnes, Utah State Vice President and Athletic Director, is on BYU Sports Nation. He's also the chair of the Division I Basketball Tournament Selection Committee. Scott, you mentioned a moment ago that Tom will find that this is one of the more rewarding experiences that he'll have. What makes you say that?
Well, it's a group of people. It starts there. You look around the room, and the conference commissioners or athletic directors from around the country. These are some of the best representatives of our industry in the entire country that have come together to take this on. And this event arguably is one of the best sporting events in not only the United States but the world. And we're tasked with being stewards of this sport and this event. And when people think about the job, they always talk about the selection committee. We aren't actually the selection committee. What we are is the men's basketball committee. Selection is part of it, but also we evaluate officials. We evaluate sites for future years. We steward the TV contract. We're involved in a lot of the pieces to that. So Tom will. That was one of the things that I guess I didn't have my head around totally when I was a rookie, was the breadth of what we do and the impact that we can have on the game.
I'm trying to wrap my head around.
I didn't realize that.
Everything that's involved in this. I don't know if you want to call it a calling or a responsibility, but I mean, there is a lot of time invested into this. What's the most difficult part of managing those responsibilities on top of trying to stay up to date with your own athletic department?
Well, and Tom, Tom will find this, and he's got as we do. We're both blessed with having great folks on campus that can take up some of the slack as you're away, because there is some time away. It's a juggling act. It's 5 years of your life for a full term. Now, Tom will only serve the final 2 of the WCC's commitment, but I've talked to former committee members who've done the math and said that the 5-year term is equivalent to 1 year of your life in terms of the hours you spend at it. So it's a good bit of time. You're spending time with again, excellent people. Preparation is key, and you've got to balance it. You've got to find a way to balance, and Tom will be excellent in finding that balance.
Scott Barnes is on BYU Sports Nation. Scott, we got to know Jamie and the process a little bit, and we hear a lot about leaving the room when your conference or team is discussed. What's that like, especially the week leading up to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, it becomes a bit interesting. I mean, when particularly in the case of a conference commissioner, because here's the policy is this: if you're a conference commissioner and one of your teams is being discussed, you have to leave the room. If you're an athletic director and your specific team is being discussed, you have to leave the room. But you don't, as an athletic director, have to leave the room if you're a member of the conference that you're in.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of difference, but it's musical chairs. A lot of times when you're looking at the multi-bid conferences and commissioners from those multi-bid conferences, they're out of the room a lot during that week, and it's an interesting piece. What we do to shore all that up is that we have conference monitoring assignments. So every committee member, Tom will have in the neighborhood of 7 or 8 conferences. 3 or 4 of those he'll be primary, and the others he'll be secondary on. And throughout the season, Tom and other committee members will have conference calls with commissioners and their staff to get the conference's perspective on where things sit within that conference. And then obviously in between, they're evaluating themselves and comparing notes to what they find from the conference. So that'll be happening through the year. And so at the end of the day, we rely on those conference monitors to provide the information for a respective conference, not the conference commissioner.
Scott Barnes, Utah State Vice President and Athletic Director since 2008 on BYU Sports Nation. A very, very busy man. You mentioned the great relationship that you have with Tom, and that is probably why BYU and Utah State, I'm assuming, have linked future deals for basketball and for football. Why is this rivalry an important one for not just the state of Utah, but for college athletics in general?
Well, when you think about our programs and where they sit, both basketball and football, obviously there's some ebb and flow with both. But overall, generally, we're really good programs, high-profile programs, and there's nothing better to ignite and excite an alumni base and a fan base and the collegiate fan base around rivalry games. And we think about what's happened with conference realignment, and many of those rivalry games across the country have gone away because of conference realignment. So to preserve that and grow that into the future, I think is a really important part of just continuing to keep this game, this great game and great enterprise that we have, exciting for the fans.
And there have been
some for our student athletes, obviously.
Absolutely, and there have been some good games recently in football and men's basketball, competitive games. And with the absence of Utah on BYU's football schedule the next 2 years, to BYU fans, I think the Utah State game means that much more. Is that perceived in any way on the Utah State side that it means a bit more without the Utes playing the Cougars?
Yeah, I think that and we'll be moving beyond our agreement with Utah as well, and it'll be our intent is to play one or the other in football every year. And right now, obviously, we have a long-term deal with BYU, and we'll continue to do that. And we're not sure where we'll land with Utah. So right now, our priority is to continue the BYU series. It's something that our fan base, the state, really gets excited excited about. And obviously we play for conference championships, and that's always a primary goal. But rivalry games, you just can't replace those. It's really the fabric of why this enterprise, Intercollegiate Athletics, is so popular. And so we want to foster that and keep that going as long as we can.
Scott Barnes, Utah State Vice President and Athletic Director, with us on BYU Sports Nation. Perhaps we've buried the lead here, Scott. You played professional hoops in Europe, in Germany, in '85 and '86. Let's say you and Tom Holmoe play one-on-one on a basketball court. Who wins that game?
He has no chance.
Or if you're running a route and he's defending,
I don't know what else to say.
Tom was a Super Bowl winning safety and cornerback as well, so it evens out at some point. Although a Super Bowl ring is nice.
If you're trying to run a curl against Tom, does he disrupt that one?
You know, with my size and athleticism, no, he can't disrupt that.
Well played, Scott Barnes. Scott, I want to ask you about men's basketball. Always a good game between the Cougars and Aggies. Last year in Salt Lake, neutral site. Some fans have wondered, hey, is it rotating through neutral, home, road? What's the future with hoops and BYU and Utah State?
Yeah, we really like the 3-game series, home and home, and a neutral site. We as it relates to our strategy at Utah State, we don't have an opportunity to be in Salt Lake enough. That's our largest alumni base. So to have an opportunity to do a home and home and then a neutral site game for us is just right where we want it. We like that. As we move forward, I would like to pursue another agreement that's the same, which is again at Utah State, at BYU, and then one neutral site game. And again, it gives us a chance to get our alumni base in the Salt Lake area. Those folks that can't come up during the basketball season on a regular basis, a chance to be part of the Aggies down there. So it's good. It's certainly good for us, and I hope BYU feels the same. And
what's this year in Logan, right?
Correct.
This coming year, okay. And then after that, do we know any of that?
I'm trying to remember where we are in the 3-game series. I think we've got one more, but the intent would be just to renew the 3-game series. Wherever it sits, we have every expectation that we'll renew it.
Okay.
Fantastic. Hey, Scott, we appreciate the time here on BYU Sports Nation for the insight into what goes on with the NCAA tournament selection basketball.
There's more than just selection.
Yeah, it's all encompassing, and so we appreciate that insight and the kind words about Tom Holmoe. We'll see you down the road in the future.
It sounds great. Good luck to you all. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Scott.